The Bradford pear tree was once widely planted across the Carolinas, but in 2022, North Carolina started a bounty for their removal, and in 2024, South Carolina banned the sale of the tree. Even so, this invasive species continues to wreak havoc on our local environment. Here's meteorologist Jenna Warner to explain.
The Bradford pear tree. Beautiful white flowers, nice shape, but they're also known for their fishy smell, and they're terrible for the environment. It's an invasive species that competes with and damages native species and harms local ecosystems. This is because Bradford pear trees aren't from here. The Bradford pear was introduced to the area in the early 1900s due to its fall color, spring flowers, and easy-to-grow nature. The trees were originally thought to be sterile when planted, but they started to cross-pollinate in the early 2000s, and they started popping up everywhere. They overtook many native species in the Carolinas. Ann Wilson is an interpretive ranger at Myrtle Beach State Park, where Bradford pears were once widely planted.
And a long time ago, before we understood how badly invasives were, and even exotics, plants that aren't supposed to be here, our entire entrance median was planted with exotic and invasive species.
Now the quarter-mile-long entrance is lined with native species, which are much more valuable to local wildlife.
And so when butterflies and moths, they have specific host plants they have to lay an egg on. And they haven't evolved to have like Bradford pears or these privets. And so it's a food desert.
The food chain impact reaches beyond insects too. For example, the chickadee needs around 5,000 to 9,000 caterpillars to raise just 4 to 5 babies. If Bradford pears and other invasives aren't a host for caterpillars and other insects, chickadees and other birds have less food available to raise their young or just to grow up. Before the South Carolina ban, Bradford pear trees were easy to buy at local nurseries. Now their sale is illegal, but there are still other invasive trees on the market, like the mimosa tree. Wilson encourages all of us to plant natives instead.
Because we are having so much development, we are getting rid of all the natural grocery stores. And so even in your backyard, don't be fooled by, even if you have a small backyard, you can make a difference. You can plant your own little corner grocery store, your own little neighborhood store with different native plants.
Trees like red buckeyes, wild cherries, tulip poplars, yopon hollies, or anything recommended by the South Carolina Native Plant Society. And your chance to get these plants is coming up.
So Saturday, May 3rd, out in Conway on the town green, the South Carolina Native Plant Society is going to hold a native plant sale. This is a great time to ask questions of, well, I have this, what could I replace it with? And so you could go home with some beautiful native plants.
Planting native species in your yard will also make it better equipped to handle drought, easier to cultivate, and attract more wildlife, creating a grocery store for our local ecosystem. For Climate Carolinas, I'm meteorologist Jenna Warner.